Well, I think it's time we do a little bit of work on the Phase 5 Cobalt. I've done 1 or 2 videos on the car, but it hasn't been running. Admittedly, because there's a little bit of an issue. It's got a fuel leak. Bought this car now. It's been, gosh, a month or two. Ultimate plans are, well, not 100% sure. Just as a quick recap, this is an old GM quasi-factory front-wheel drive race car from around 2005 through only maybe 6 or 7. I only really ran it for a couple of years. Started out as a bone stock 05 base model Chevy Cobalt. I would assume this is probably the engine that came in that car, and then it's just been modified. It is still, I believe, a 2.2 liter Ecotec engine that's just been, I think, sleeved in pistons and rods and stuff to get it up in that 500 to 600 horsepower range, depending how much boost goes through it with the turbo. But I did do another video kind of breaking the car down more and what it has. But so far, I really haven't run it. I did drive it, or I drove it when I purchased it, drove it onto the trailer. Then ironically, when I got it home that night, I just kind of pushed it off the trailer. It's kind of late night and this thing's loud. I didn't want to make a bunch of noise. So I just pushed it on the trailer, and then it's just kind of been sitting here in the driveway. Well, when I was shooting those original videos, I was going to get it running. When I tried to, discovered it had a fuel leak. Didn't quite know where at the time, because I did get it running, and it was running rough, but it was running. And then I looked over, there's fuel going all over the driveway. So shut it down, and then really didn't look at it too much. It was getting late that night. And then realized if I want to investigate, I gotta get off the driveway here. I'm trying to take a mess. So finally getting back into it. And before I turned the camera on here, I did put a battery in the back and turn on the fuel pump just to see. And sure enough, it is the fuel line right here that goes into the fuel rail. I'm guessing the leak seems to be coming from right in here on the fitting. My guess is this is the original fuel line from 20 years ago, whenever they put the car together. I guess probably from ethanol fuels and crappy fuels and sitting for so long. I bet you the end of the fuel line's split here, so it's just kind of leaking around the edge, because it doesn't seem to be coming from the threaded portion here. It seems to be coming from where the rubber hose connects into the AN fitting. So anyway, I don't have a bunch of AN fitting and stuff to mess with at the moment. Most of my cars have stock type fuel lines, so I guess the Pro front car has some, and this as well, so I will have to invest in some tools and some fittings and stuff to mess with it. But I think at the very least I can take the line off, take this fitting off, and maybe cut it down a little bit if that truly is the issue, and then just put the fitting back on, and that probably temporarily fix it. But anyway, one quick thing on the car. One thing I did do, I messed around earlier, was these seats, which are Recaros, are really nice seats. Now technically they're 20 years old, but they have, I mean, literally no miles on them. In fact, this passenger seat, I don't know if it's ever even really been sat in for any significant amount of time. Obviously the driver's seat as well, considering what this car is. But I tried lowering them. The brackets down here, I lowered the front, and unfortunately on the back, you can't go any lower than that second hole there, because the bottom of the seat hits the bracket. But even with that lowering, oh gosh, the seat just does not fit. It's definitely designed for a small person. My eyesight is basically right into that top roll bar, and on top of that, while the waist and the leg portion is pretty good, my shoulders are way too wide for this seat here. So unfortunately, whatever the long-term plans are with this car, they're not going to include those seats. And for me, they would be like a great road race seat or who knows what. But unfortunately, they're not going to work for me, so I'm going to have to sell those. If anybody's interested, let me know, because yeah, they're a very good seat in perfect condition, but too small for me. So anyway, get this fuel line off here, see what we can do about this, and if that's all the issue, we should be able to fire this thing up. Well, after a rainstorm break, back at it here. I had to put a whole new fuel line on. And of course, I don't have any braided lines. I'm just using regular rubber. I think it'll work okay. It went into the fittings fine, so I think the braid is more just for protection. So this is just a temporary thing. But what I discovered after I took the fuel line off, I realized it didn't mark which end I wanted to check. So I was like, let me put it on, check it out real quick, and run the fuel pump again. And I noticed it wasn't so much the fitting end, it was like all over. So I think actually flexing this older braided line, it probably cracked even more inside. And so basically that old line was junk. So had some fuel line here. Size wise, I think it's 5/16. I'm not quite 100% sure, but anyway, it did fit. So new fuel line from here all the way back up into here. I need to tie it down. We'll fire up the fuel pump here in a second and see if it leaks. One nice thing about having a race car is you typically have a remote switch for the fuel pump, and that's up here. So let's see what happens. And sorry for the wind, because yes, of course, after the rain now it's super windy, but the fuel pump is on. Fuel is definitely running in here. I don't want to run it too long without the car running, but no leaking here and no leaking here. So let's see if this thing will run. All right, well, we're in the car. Let's see if we can get this thing running here. Of course, it's raining, getting dark out, so we might not go anywhere for now, but at least let's see if we get this thing fired up and hopefully not have any leaks, and then we can go from there. So keys in the ignition. That doesn't really start the car. That's just, I know it's part of the process, I remember. So keys in the run position. Up here we have start for the starter, ignition, fuel, and the fan. And you don't need the fan, but probably can't hear, but there's two different settings, like on and intermittent. You can hear the fan running, so we do have power. So let's got the key in. Let's turn on fuel, ignition. We have lights and power. Okay, come on. Oh, we got some pops. Ooh, we're getting close. Oh, big puke of smoke, but I think she's gonna run. Maybe. It does have a horrible tune in it, so that's the problem. I don't know what it's set at right now. She wants to. And I gotta play with the throttle to get this turd running. Well, it runs, sort of. I can get it to idle. It won't really go much past idling. Good news is no fuel leak anymore, so probably should put some plugs in it. That can't hurt. And I don't know, I just need to take it to dyno, get it tuned, and see if we have air leaks, or who knows what could be. I mean, there could be a variety of things. But at least you got it running again and not have a fuel issue, so that's good. That's step one. But ways to go in this project because well, this time of year most of the tracks around here are closed. Well, there are no tracks around here, but if there were tracks, the ones within a few hours away are closing soon, so I don't anticipate much racing coming up for this guy this year, but at least when I get it running, if I can get a base tune out of it, that'd be great as well. So I think at this point we're just going to stop with that, because if I got it running a little better, still probably not smart to take it out and do a lap around here or something, because it'd probably break down and then it'd be stuck again. So got a ways to go. This thing is very much a work in progress, but it's a work in progress that at least runs. So we'll see. A lot more to come on this one. I think ultimately not quite sure on the final plan. Sorry for the wind. Yeah, probably try to race it once or twice in its current condition, or cleaned up a bit but running in its current condition, and then go from there. Ultimately, parts vehicle, I don't know, but we'll see. But anyway, it's it for now, so thanks for watching. See you in the next one.